food inflation. But the one thing they don't seem to be talking about is that if food inflation comes down, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cost of food comes down as a result of that. No, you're not going to see it all of a sudden reduce. It's fact. For it to come down, it has to be below zero. Or, let's say, for instance, food inflation levelled off. So it's about 1%, say, for instance. But your wages are increasing above food inflation. Well, then, in real terms, the cost of food actually decreases. So it's all very well for Richie Sunak saying that, oh, by the end of the year, we're going to get it on, in check and what have you. Food inflation will be coming down. Like I say, it doesn't mean to say that food is going to be cheaper. All it means is that it's not going to be increasing as fast, in cost. It's just like, I don't understand why people don't actually mention this. I really don't. It's quite frustrating, actually. So, if it's at 10.1%, well, like here in France, it's about 6-7% food inflation here at the moment, so it's still high. Yeah, inflation, sorry. But, so inflation, sorry, I got that wrong. So inflation in the UK is 10.1%. Food inflation is 19.4%. I think that's the ONS figures. Sorry, I got that wrong, the wrong way around. But yeah, it's unless we actually see a decrease way lower, or less than actual inflation, food inflation, well then the food's got to carry on increasing in price, isn't it? That's what it looks like to me. And I find it rather frustrating that nobody really, mentions that. So, who have we got here at the moment? So I hope you're all well. It's a bit of a random one, even though I made a mistake right at the beginning. But that's me, isn't it, And I hope the audio is okay, because I'm only on my phone and just got my little microphone plugged in. I just thought I'd go a few minutes, so I thought I'd go live. But the one thing that the UK has got that no other country has got is the fact it's got Brexit, hasn't it? It's got COVID, it's got the pandemic, aftermath of the pandemic, the amount of money that's got wasted. Money that got wasted, and then you got obviously the war in Ukraine, all help add to food inflation. But the one thing that we've got that nobody else has got is Brexit. Yeah, it's not surprising though, is it? Because Brexit's almost cost like $6 billion to the UK food bills in just 2 years. It's madness, really. So there's no wonder we're having to pay more for food. And the cost of food imported from the EU shot up because of the extra red tape, and it's adding another £210 to the average household. ONS figures this is, and the London School of Economics as well. So 210 quid on the average household food bill. That doesn't sound like a huge amount of money over the course of the year, but if you're already struggling, that's a hell of a lot of money. No, I'm not going to kid you. Food prices here have definitely increased considerably on some things. Some things have stayed about the same, but we've definitely seen an increase. But it's not 19-odd%. Actually, what is food inflation in the UK? It's quite good. I should have checked that, shouldn't I? In the UK, in France, for instance, France food inflation. Let's find their official figures. Oh dear me! It's a beautiful day though, isn't it? Lovely and sunny. My solar panel's obviously working overtime at the minute, which is good. France food inflation. Yeah, it is on a bit of a high at the moment. It's not as high as the UK, but I think you find it's around, if I get this right, if I can find it, it's around 15.5% in France. So it is way too high, and obviously it's above inflation. So food is growing faster than people's wages, because inflation here is only about 7%. So in some ways it makes it even harder, But there again, wages aren't going up, are they? Well, they say they are, about 2.3% or something like that, but it's rather low. But it's pretty much knocked on the head because the fact of the matter is we've got, food inflation, the cost of living has gone up. Everything's become more expensive, obviously, energy prices and that as well. Everything is more expensive. But not just that, One thing I was thinking about earlier is in France, for instance, you get your minimum wage, just like you got in the United Kingdom. You've got a minimum wage in the United Kingdom. But, and there is a but here, France, it has the minimum wage is like across the board. Hello, how are you doing there? Afternoon to you too. Like for instance, it's I can't remember what it is now. It's around 10 or 11 euros or something like that. Anyway, I think it's a little bit higher, not a lot, but a little bit higher than the UK. But it's across the board, whether you're 18 years old or whether you're 35, 40 years old. Minimum wage is the same. But in the UK, if you are I should have got those figures up, shouldn't I? If you are in the United Kingdom and you're 18 years old, minimum wage is like I think it's £5.78. It's rather low, and then it goes up until about 25, until you're 25 years old. But it's just too low. It's just ridiculous, and all that sort encourage youngsters to go into crime if they can't make ends meet. Where else are they going to get the money from if they're only getting paid like five or six quid an hour on minimum wage? Because don't get me wrong, the minimum wage is a good thing, but it didn't just level up the wages. It also started levelling down the wages as well, unfortunately. So it has a bit of a knock-on effect. It has a negative effect as well. So UK minimum wage. Minimum wage. Right. Oh, here we go. Minimum wage in the United Kingdom, age 23 or over, is £10.42. 21 to 22 is £10.18. Why don't you just have it from like 21 to 23? Because that's silly. That's like 10, 20 centimes. And then you got 18 to 20-year-olds is £7.49. It's not actually, mate, because at the end of the day, you don't get minimum wage. The minimum wage in the UK, if you're only 18 years old, it's only like £5 odd. Yeah, £5.28 actually. Under 18s is £5.28. 18 to 20 is £7.49. So yeah, okay. What is the minimum wage in France? I'm only going to be on for a little while, just to touch base. Oh, okay, oh god, I don't know monthly. What the hourly? Minimum hourly. Oh, I'm just looking at my solar panels here. It's very sunny today, that is. Search for a list of European countries by the minimum wage. Okay. Could do that. That's €10.85, so effectively it would be less, wouldn't it? Yeah, because it's just gone up as well in the UK, isn't it? It's literally just gone up. So, yeah, unless you're a youngster. Yeah, if you're 18, it's $5.20, and up to 18 years of age, it's like $5.28 an hour. So no wonder some youngsters end up going into crime. Especially if you've got to try and sustain yourself on that. If you haven't lived with your parents still, it's going to be a bit difficult, isn't it? Okay, so minimum wage in relationship to countries. Minimum wage. List of countries. This is the country with the highest minimum wage. The highest minimum wage, I'll tell you a little more. Right, so France is France is the 5th country in the world with the highest and best minimum wage structure. And Luxembourg, doesn't make sense. Let's go back. That's a really bad layout. Oh, what a simple layout. Minimum wage by country. That might be better. Right. By colour, you can't even see it probably here. That's annoying. What colour is that? That's a dark blue. Yeah, that's no good. Let's go back. I'm waiting for the missus to get back as well. She's just popped off to, she's having a next vaccine, 5th or 6th vaccine or something. So, yeah. Highest minimum wage in the country. Europe. Oh, I bet in Scotsman. Accept that. Scott, bear with us. I'll find it in a minute. But food inflation, though, is just nuts. And what's frustrating is the way they're trying to sell it as like some kind of win. You get like, you know, oh, it's down 1% or something. It's actually increased, but it's down 1%. And it's not. Australia's pretty good. It's £11.91. So, or $21. 21 Australian dollars. So from July in Australia, 2022, the national minimum wage is $21.38 per hour. France, oh hang on, that's Luxembourg. That's not French flag. That's the wrong way. Is 11.61. So Luxembourg is pretty good in pounds. So it's €13.37. And for skilled labour, it's at 16. Oh, I see. So that's quite. It's not just a blanket minimum wage. Depends on what you do. New Zealand is 10.64. Germany 10.40. This is all in pounds. So that's €12 per hour basically. And scroll down. Oh, that's annoying. There we go. Well, I ain't got France on this. We've got Australia's 11.91. Luxembourg 11.61. So France isn't up. New Zealand's 10.64 in pounds. Germany's pretty good minimum wage. And I do love the fact that Germany's getting rid of those nuclear power stations. They've been decommissioned at the moment. So although I think they're still burning coal, which isn't so good. The highest minimum wage. Okay, so if we don't get the if the youngsters aren't paid enough, if they're in crime, it potentially is another cost, isn't it? For ending up in jail, overcrowded jails. They've privatised half of them, haven't they, as well? It's nuts. 10 countries are the highest minimum wage. There we go, scrolling down. Population, inflation. No, that's not very good. If I was on the computer, it would be easier. In Europe. Let's try Europe. Allow cookies. I hate the fact I allow cookies. Alright, so minimum wage in EU 2023. Is this by the month? This is monthly minimum wage. So France is 1,603 and the UK isn't even on there. That's not very helpful. They are in Europe. Oh, not in the EU. That's the EU. List of European Union members. Nope. Try country. By country. But you know, you can't expect us to be doing to be doing well if our costs are higher. You know, if you're saying $6 billion a year additional cost of food importation at the moment is horrendous, and it's only going to get worse. You know, so a new device is an anti-solar panel. What? A new device is an anti-solar panel harvesting energy from a cold night sky by harnessing the temperature difference between the Earth and outer space. What? I heard that one. That's a new one. You take the mic. Cold panels could go on the underside of the solar PVs. So there's a cold panels. I didn't even know there was. So the minimum wage in the Netherlands for an 18-year-old is 44.64 per day with a 30. What? 44 euros a day for an 18-year-old. Oh my God, that's terrible. To be fair, actually, so definitely goes further. Here in France, the cost of living is much lower, although food prices have definitely increased. But the living cost, like for instance, our tax habitation's been got rid of. You know, the equivalent of the council tax. So that's cheap because it's not there. So that's good. We've still got a tax foncier, so basically we have to pay a tax on our land and what have you, and the footprint of the house and what have you. But the rest of it, yeah, we don't get hit on that anymore, which is great. It's gone. That's down to Macron. Although people whinge about Macron, you know, he has done some good, you know. I know everyone will argue it, but he has done some good. They can say Sarkozy. If it wasn't for Sarkozy's what was the auto-entrepreneur scheme they brought out under Nicolas Sarkozy, the guy with the ankle bracelet, the tag. If it wasn't for the AI scheme, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to get their foot on the ladder regarding starting a business, because it's really prohibitive here to do a SAL or micro-entrepreneur or what have you. It's costly. You know, they pre-tax you as well, so they make an assumption, oh, you're going to earn this much, and you've got to pay the tax within so many months before you even earn any money. So it's it's not very encouraging if you're just starting out in business, and you know businesses are like, you know, sometimes they just fail, you know, right at the beginning. So it's not very conducive to actually doing well. So the other thing is, you know, obviously all those delays out of Dover. Normally there'll be some compensation due. But no, not anymore. I wonder why that is. Is it because we left the EU? I think so. So according to this here, it says Britons are delayed at Dover to miss out on the compensation if the EU law is scrapped. Oh, so we're talking about the Brexit bill. Well, that's pretty much been shelved at the moment, the Brexit bill. If they do push that through where they're going to get rid of over $4,000 EU laws, you won't be able to claim back compensation. Yeah, if you get delayed at Dover. Oh, things get from bad to worse. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah, Brexit's fantastic. You know, everybody loves Brexit. Democracy. Yeah, I had somebody in the comments earlier today. He did it in German as well. He's gone on about democracy. So Scottish ultramarathon runner disqualified after using a car in a race. That'd be me. A guardsman applies to be a hitman, then gets arrested instead. What on earth's in the news today? And China's ready to broker an Israel-Palestine peace talks, says Foreign Minister. And also what they're doing at the moment is China and India are both trying to get a free trade deal with Russia. Lovely, aren't they? Lovely people. Sorry, well, lovely government. It's not necessarily the people, is it? But it's, yeah. And also the UK is trying to get a free trade deal with India as well. So there's all these back doors going into Russia, basically. So much for these sanctions. Oh, that's just ridiculous. They're not working because they're basically, Russia's got another economic system in place. Is parallel imports. So effectively, they've got like their own kind of black market system running alongside their own usual importation system, and it's not one that we can do much about. Not at the moment. I don't know how you'd stop that, but basically stuff from Western manufacturers, Western brands are ending up in Russia because Russia's basically they've added them to a list of allowed imports on this parallel import mechanism. So there's all sorts of stuff getting in there, even stuff from IKEA and a lot of British brands as well. You know, you also just had was it Absolute vodka. There's still important stuff there. They've stopped importing Absolute vodka into Russia at the moment, but they were crikey, they've been doing it sort of a bit low key, and it wasn't until some people got kicked off that they stopped doing it again. So, but then they've got this parallel imports scheme operating in Russia. So the problem is they're not necessarily the actual brands themselves exporting into Russia. They're ending up in, say, I don't know, India, for instance, and then being imported into Russia, or exported into Russia. So the cost of living is, higher wage growth suggests another interest rate rise is on the way. Yes, they're saying, it's going to be about 4.5%. And by the end of the year, we're likely to see interest rates of 5% by autumn. That's what they're saying. So it's not surprising though, is it really? I just have to put my other phone on charge. No, I can't put it on the stand. Oh no, it's got a cable. Here you go. Let's find the other charger that is charging. I know it's all a bit ad hoc here now, but I just thought I'd just wing it to see what's going on. It's an excuse to sit out in the sun, you know. Get radiated from the solar panels. So, there we go. Oh, nice one. Cheers, Joe. So you dropped me a comment about Russian solar parallel mark on your last video. I can have a look. Bum, 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 if it pops up, if I can find it, that is. It's not always that easy. Normally own for old phone. Oh, here we go. As the Russian purchasers, we have a wonderful situation, Marcus. The rich oligarchs are still able to travel inside. This is from Joe, by the way. Certain circumstances by bypassing the blockade and pre-acquired visas, diplomatic visas. So much of that until people started an uproar about it around here. They were still dipping their feet in the Algarve, so it's obviously in Portugal. Now, now they fly under the radar since I've not heard about it. Now there are still Russians coming, but they are either people with dual citizenship, and there are a lot, or those acquiring Portuguese nationality through residence here before the war. Normal procedures, or even claiming either Portuguese ancestry or dual citizenship. Now, lots of Portuguese were seeding kids in Soviet Russia to where they fled during the dictatorship here. A Jewish Sephardi ascendancy, like Abramovich, for example. The other sneaky way is that Europe cannot simply deny visas, and a person that might be a family member or a Russian oligarch can acquire a visa like any other tourist and come here even if the number of visas are reduced. Only the oligarch can be denied an entry. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh God, that's long. I can read all that. I'll read that in a minute. Blimey, I'll lose track. Crikey. Is that your longest comment yet, Joe? The real place where the sanctions are hurting are in the financial market, and Russia's budget is getting minuscule, and selling oil and gas to the Indian and Chinese under production costs does not help. And Russia is spending its foreign currency reserves, meaning think of it as a series of lamps that are lighting up as a single generator. As energy is less to feed the generator, the lamps get dimmer, but they do not go out completely. Yeah, I get that. But those lamps are getting dimmer, but light up less of the room that you're in. Hence, there are potatoes, butter, meat, and dairy. But as for tech and other essential equipment, either parallel economy supplies, or if they are second-grade Chinese knockoffs in military technology, and all technology support and maintenance. That is the other place where it is hurting, because Russia doesn't have the infrastructure. It's like what happened regarding when the airlines start pulling their flights out of their planes out of Russia, and Russia they prevented some of the planes from leaving, I believe, if I remember rightly. But also they haven't got a way of getting in because of the sanctions. They couldn't get the parts for the planes. But I wonder if they're managing to get them via these parallel imports. So there's potential that a lot of these planes are going to end up being grounded. They've got nowhere to go anyway because no one wants them now, do they? It's hard for Russians to get out, and obviously I know what he has been saying. It's hot out here, you know. Crikey, it really is. Sun's over there. It's now looking to come down. Previous year's Chelsea season ticket holders paid for Putin's war. Well, that's a good point, yeah. Abramovich. And they're talking about donating some of his money for rebuilding Ukraine or something like that. UK is hello, Mellow. UK is going to get themselves sanctioned for trying all corrupt Brexit criminal backdoors. Yep. Bramwich was given the royal treatment. Putin has implemented Brexit. Everything costs more, and exports are chopped down. Well, yeah. Oh, my dear missus is on her way back. I can see her. It's your little scooter. The housing cost was partly spiked due to billionaires using London property. Yeah, for us in, say, for instance, where I used to live, in Sallows, in Norfolk, and we found out it became more and more transient. We got more and more people, basically commuters, working in London, especially now. It's getting even worse now because the rail link between Norwich, not rail link, sorry. The rail link between Norwich and Stansted, for instance, or London, has much improved. And also the A11 is now, it's been dealed all the way along now, so that is far, far better and less problematic. It used to be you could get held up all the while at Ely, and you'd be sitting in traffic. If you timed it wrong, you'd be sitting in traffic for flipping ages. It's so tedious. So commuters, more and more commuters are looking further, out of London because of your house prices. But as a result, the prices of properties in Norfolk they're actually rapidly increasing, even though they've slowed down somewhat elsewhere. In Norfolk, they're still on the up, it seems. From what my son was telling me, anyway. And he's about to sell. You see, he wants to get a slightly bigger house. Just tell him wait. Sell now, then wait. It's just one of them things, isn't it? So it became more and more transient, and more Londoners are buying property there, pushing the prices up. So it's a problem, isn't it? And then what happens is it's the same like what's happening in Barcelona in Spain and what have you, where they were saying in Catalonia, where they're getting all uppity because more and more, a lot of them English, obviously buying up properties around there, and it was making it difficult for the youngsters to get their foot on the ladder, And it's kind of understandable, isn't it? I don't even remember. It was about 3 years ago now. They were protesting against these cruise ships that are coming in as well, weren't they? Yeah, it's causing problems. It's all about the house prices were just rapidly increasing, and generally they were rather cheap, and now they're rather expensive. And the same in the UK, isn't it? The price you pay for the houses is not what they're worth. They're not worth that. It's just what people are willing to pay for them. And if you compare them to house prices here in France, if you've got something that is obviously in a city or a large town or something like that, they're relative, they're definitely not on par, but they're still quite pricey. But it's like our house here. It isn't worth a huge amount considering the size of it. It's not worth a lot at all. I paid 60,000 for this place. Well, 57,000 is what I paid for it. Okay, as a reg, and I've done a lot of work to it, and I've still got a lot more to do. But it's if I had put a price to my time, and the amount of, obviously got the material costs and other stuff we had to buy and acquire and stuff like that. Well, then obviously that pushes the obviously your inputs and what have you. That would you still make a profit, really. I think you still make a profit, but not as much as you would in the UK because house prices are growing so rapidly, aren't they? And if you get a place renovated or converted or whatever in the UK, you can make quite a considerable amount of money. Just sitting on it, you make money. My old place that I sold, we got hit in the last recession, 2008, 2009, and we were about to move over here, and the house prices were they were hit. As you can probably remember, they plummeted. Building sites all started shutting down, no one could sell houses, what have you. So we had to take a hit on ours, because we already signed up for this, you see. So the money had to be transferred over a period of time, all the usual sort of stuff. And we didn't want to lose our deposit, and we were hell-bent on getting out. So we did. And we took a hit. The house, at the time, I suppose, what was that on? Up for about 240,000. And we ended up selling for 197. And we got a buy. The value actually went down further, but at least we got a buyer, and we got out, and we got this place. But we checked on that ukhouseprices.co.uk or something like that. There's a website online, I can't remember exactly what it's called. But we checked prices on there. Within a year, it went up by 100 grand off our preliminary. I wish I sat on it though. You know? Not about 100 grand. And it's now valued around 400,000 and in Sallows. It's quite a sought after area, you know, it's a poshish area, but our part of it in Sallows wasn't particularly posh, but it was a lovely place. And it was a nice house. Still had neighbours though, that's the problem, it's neighbours. Got no neighbours here as such. The neighbours are like a little hamlet right over there, you know, 150 metres away. It's not really a neighbour, is it? There aren't many people there anyway. And our next neighbours are all that way, and another little hamlet up that way. And that's a mixture of English and French. And it's quite a trek. Yeah, it's about a kilometre away, so we're quite isolated. We're sitting here on the edge of this little valley here, because this is actually a valley. On the edge of that valley. There's a little river down the bottom. A stream come river, so to speak. And it is rather nice. And when we bought this place, it was, the grass was up here, brambles everywhere and stuff like that. There was a lot need doing, and there still is a lot need doing. But now it's just me and Caroline. It's quite hard just to keep it maintained now. We're really struggling with it actually. But it's prices of properties, rural properties in France are cheap. They're low. You know, they're manageable. You know, getting mortgages on them and stuff like that isn't a huge problem either. You know, it's probably because the payments are low. You know, if you wanted to buy this place for renovation, and okay, they'd have to be a fair amount of money put down and stuff because it's a renovation, and they'd want to see progress as well, wouldn't they? You know, on 60 odd thousand, that'd have been not a lot of money. You know, but where can you buy a place? You know, you just can't. You know, even the state this place was in. I remember when we were living, before we moved here, we were renting a place on Thunder Lane in Thorpe St Andrew, Norwich. And the neighbour's place was up for sale, and it was pretty has never been touched really. It was very, very basic. It was pretty much how it was. It's a townhouse, and quite biggish townhouses. I mean, but it's not a townhouse we're talking about. It's just a semi-detached, fairly biggish hall entrance, semi-detached property, and had no alterations, no new bathrooms, no nothing. I couldn't believe it. It went for 300,000, and it needed gutting, absolutely gutting. Even the one that we're in, as far as I'm concerned, you know, we're renting, needed gutting. I spent 3 weeks just painting the place up because it was just a bit of a state. You know, I paid up front for the rent and stuff like that just to get in there. So we had somewhere, so we had the base. Because we sold the house, you see, so obviously we had to move out while we were waiting to come here. And I just couldn't believe the prices, the house prices in the United Kingdom, they're not sustainable, not for ordinary people. How are kids supposed to get their foot on that ladder? Now my son, for instance, my oldest, he managed to buy his property. He got his foot on the ladder. But if it wasn't for his mother-in-law, he wouldn't be able to save up the deposit for him and his dear wife to be able to buy this place. And they managed to get themselves, they bought an ex-council property. And even then, I think I was 140 odd thousand then. He's been there for years now. And that's worth about 100 grand more. It's nuts. Ex-council property. And in Heartsease. You know, it's not exactly an affluent area either. So it's just, without that kind of the bank of mum and dad, how are people supposed to be able to get their foot on that ladder and actually better themselves? Now, it used to be treated as a norm, didn't it? You know, that's what you did. You bought a house. You know, it's just the normal thing to do. You get yourself a job, what have you? Work. You know, you get a bit of history behind you and save up a bit of deposit, and then you buy a house. It's kind of what you do. You've got to live somewhere, haven't you? You don't necessarily want to be living with your parents all your life. Now I've got people I know, including my brother-in-law actually, although he deserves it, he's still living with his mother-in-law, mother and father-in-law, who were here the other week. And it's just no way for them to be able, not earning enough to be able to get, or be able to save enough money to get their foot on the ladder. It used to be easy. It's not anymore. We had that period of time with very low interest rates and negative equity mortgages and stuff like that. And where you basically don't have to put anything down, 100% mortgages. And that was a major mistake, which that should never allowed that. And the thing is, we hold all our money in our properties. If you are a homeowner, you hold your money in your property. It's also your nest egg. It's your retirement policy. It's kind of what I suppose that's ours. And it's it gives you security and it makes you feel safer. Just being able to have something to live for obviously makes you feel safer anyway. But having that little nest egg in your property, it just makes you feel safer. When you retire, you might have a little bit of money if you want to downsize or something, or get some a motorhome, or live on a boat. I don't know, whatever. So it's future generations. How are they supposed to do that? I can't see it. I really can't see it. And I also feel, I've said this before actually, but I feel we need to change our relationship with houses, what a house actually is. Our relationship with that needs to change. Our attitude towards it. I just don't see how we can actually carry on the way we are. Whether it be environmental reasons, what have you. This house here, this house, okay, and it still needs a lot of work. But I can finish the roof for a start. It's stone, yeah. It obviously has a huge amount of mass, massive amount of mass, loads of it anyway, lots of mass, and how do you shift that amount of stuff? We've had a massive cost, and where's it all going to come from? Out the ground? We're going to have more pits. I don't even remember when you build like estates and what have you, including where I used to live on Charles Avenue in Thorpe St Andrew, and we used to have our neighbour, and he's dead now, but yeah, our neighbour, he had his garden came behind ours because his garden or his house included the pit for which all the houses were built from. All the concrete blocks, all the aggregates that came out of the ground to make the concrete blocks to build the houses, were all made on site, and basically a great big hole, a pit. It's now built on actually now. It's been filled in and built on. I think the sheltered housing on it now. There's a lot of squid at the time though, which great crested newts and all that sort of stuff. That was quite fun because we didn't want it. We didn't want them building on it, and nor did anyone else whose house basically backed onto that bit of land, because ours did. My father's place. He's gone now, but it's we need to be building houses out of other stuff. Pretty much. That's what my point was originally. We need to be building houses out of other stuff other than bricks and mortar. Because environmentally, that's just it's crazy. But obviously, the weight of it, the transportation, is not just costly, but obviously you can't get so much on the lorries. That means not great for the environment because just the weight, loading. Where do we get all this stuff from? Obviously, you also got to think about a ton of CO2 for every ton of concrete. At least with concrete, though, there's one thing about concrete is concrete is recyclable. You can't grow it, no matter what Mike Graham might say. You can't grow it. No, I'm not even going to try. It's pointless because I know you can't grow concrete. You can have foaming concrete, I suppose. Or you can have concrete stuff growing out of it. I don't think you can actually grow concrete. So Mike Graham got that one wrong from Talk TV. No wonder they're losing money. And I like the idea of PEPS panels personally, and sort of prefabricated houses. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Houses that are basically built in a factory makes so much sense. Think of like the old hoof houses and what have you. It's kind of like they're one of the original. If you're talking about German manufacturing, and one of the original prefabricated houses. We've got the airy houses and stuff like that. They weren't so nice, but hoof houses are fantastic looking things. And PEP panels, which is basically like the sandwich panels. We've got the insulation. You've got timber product both sides. And although some people might disagree, it is sustainable because you can grow trees, but you can't grow concrete. You have to keep digging getting Portland rock and digging out the ground or out of rocks. It's just, because the amount of tonnage of concrete that we produce every single year. And my uncle, he's gone. They got cancer. He's gone. Probably because of what he used to do. Yeah, MCS is still going. The company is. I don't know if they had any problems over COVID because my cousin who runs it is a bit of had to put it, a bit of an arsehole, to say the least. But yeah, MCS Concrete, and they were, oh crikey, there's lorries going in and out of there all the time. You know, cubic metre here, 3 cubic metres there, and then big contracts. You know, turn over quite a lot of money really as well. But well, he probably got cancer because obviously been surrounded by cement powder, silos of cement powder. You know, for the mixers, you know, the big old lorry mixers, and the clouds of dust from the silo itself. And he's literally there all the time, and he got cancer. So that finished him off, Mickey Thomas. He was one of the old rough diamonds to do anything for you, but he was not talkative. He could be quite aggressive, but he's also kind. He's a strange one. He was a strange one. I actually quite liked him in many ways. He was genuine, even though he is a rough diamond. That's what he is. He's literally a rough diamond. Anyway, I haven't checked the chat, have I? God, what am I like? I'm rumbling on. I haven't checked the chat. I'm terrible, aren't I? My uncle used to maintain trucks for Roadstone. Oh right, he didn't drink. Used to cycle a lot. By coincidence, he got cancer and died in the 50s. Oh blimey. Yeah. That's not very helpful. Hello, Satnav. One bed. Oh, you were there a minute ago, weren't you? I forgot. 1 bed flat, North Plymouth, post-war prefab. $60. Oh, $60. Oh, $60 a week. Isn't that cheap? Oh, it's 1 bed flat. So that's actually relatively cheap today. So I know mother-in-law's got a 2-bedroomed bungalow on Safehill Road in Norwich, in Thorpe St Andrew, and just east of Norwich, that is, Norfolk. And she's paying £750 a month rent for that. You know, and she's a pensioner. Luckily, he's got a decent pension. He's got an American pension, which brings it. He's to work for the Canco, Fibronal, basically bottle manufacturers for plastic bottles and stuff like that for Corona and was it Corona? Not Corona. Coleman and various other companies. So he got a good pension, but crikey, a shoebox flat, yeah, pretty much. A 1-bedroom flat in Dublin. Oh, whoa, really? What, in Dublin itself? In the crikey. For €1,800 a month. Blimey, how do people manage on that? No wonder if people in such a bad way. You've got to be earning some, I know some people say, well, move somewhere. If that's where you work, what are you supposed to do? Oh, how's Dover and the fresh food supplies in the UK? I don't know what to believe on the news anymore. It's slowed down. Fresh food supplies in the United Kingdom is still a problem. There are still shortages, but they're kind of catching up with themselves constantly. Makes any sense? It's not as though they've got like massive gaps everywhere. In some places they have, especially further north. But it's like constant catch up. So if there's a slight hiccup, you'll see massive shortages again, and they've got to catch up again. So there are still shortages. There isn't no they've got no buffer. There's no sump, so to speak, to rely on to keep things stable. So as soon as you get the next hiccup or problem, that'll be big problems again. And by the end of this year, if with the checks coming in November for imports into the United Kingdom, they say they're going to be a light touch on the customs controls, but it's like anything. What they mean by light touch, it's still more touches than what's been going on at the moment, but they've got no choice. It's all part of the Trading Corporation Agreement. They're going to have to impose them at some point, but it's going to be catastrophic. It really is. I just can't see how they can actually, keep that food flowing in. And I'll tell you what gets me. Now, I just thought of something. Me and Mrs. were talking about this morning. Whenever you watch any of these programmes, and I'm not big on TV, you probably know this already, I watch hardly any TV. I might watch a bit of news, or meet my tea, or something like that, and that's probably about it, and the rest of it I'm not interested in. I'll listen to LBC sometimes, James and Brian, or Nick Abbott and people like that occasionally. But apart from that, I'm not that interested. But the thing that was really bugging me is some of these programmes you see, like for instance, can you remember the council, Social Security, Social Security, on the people on the dole and what have you. And then whenever you see interviews online, like even BBC interviews or any of them, but it be Channel 4 or any of them, they always seem to. Someone say, "I can't feed my family." They're always fat. just fatter than me, even. So this is someone's like, why can't they pick someone who's just a normal sort of average sized person? And no, they pick someone who's fat. You'll do because you're fat, and it helps fuel a narrative. That's what it feels like to me. It's like it's on purpose. It's deliberate. I can just imagine it. All the right wing, doubters out there that there's a problem. It's not Brexit. Well, it's like, I just want my Brexit. All them lot. That's the kids aren't getting fed because she's eating all the flippin' food, ain't she? And him over there, with his string vest and his his wife fronts pulled up over his jogging bottoms. Lovely, yeah. It's always the same, isn't it? Or they've always got people who've got expensive mobile phones. Oh, you can fold one of them then. Oh, you got Netflix, have it? It's like that. It's just not the case. There's so many people out there got nothing. They're not even subscribed to anything. They ain't even got mobile phones. Some of them haven't, which is a right problem because they can't. It's quite hard to get jobs if you've got no online access. And it's just, is it me or is this on purpose? It feels very much that it's on purpose. That they're doing it to fuel a narrative that they're trying to portray. I might be wrong. Won't be the first time. I know, innit? But Boris was looking to buy a place with a moat. I know. Oh God, is that going ahead? That's a good point. Because was it Lord Brown down below? Was he going to be helping funding it again? Just like the Boris flat. And Brian Paul says 1,800. Bloody hell! That's 4 times mine, and mine's are pretty big for one bed. That's horrendous, isn't it? In big cities like Paris, the price of rents is regulated by law. I didn't actually know that. Chesterbean, that's interesting. It's regulated by law, and they cannot exceed a certain level, which is calculated according to the wages of the tenants. That's brilliant. Oh my God, that's what we need in the UK, something like that. The other thing is it's really hard to get your tenants out. I mean, it's like almost impossible. If you ever want to sell the property and what have you, if they're sitting tenants, yeah, I find it very difficult. Although saying that, a friend, he's actually moved back to the UK. He's mad, absolutely mad. He loved the place here as well, and he had a good little business. He's a silversmith. Anyway, maybe the pandemic affected him. In the head, probably. He moved back to the UK. Anyway, he moved back to Brendan. He moved back to the United Kingdom. And before he bought his house here, he was renting from mother-in-law, mother and father-in-law, because they also lived locally here. And he was living there, renting there, and he had a flat. He's a South African guy. He left South Africa when all the script was going on and people were getting murdered and what have you. So him and his missus, they run away. And they went to the UK first, and he had his business in the UK. Oh, he's waiting for a silversmith. So he used to do all the big trophies and that for like football teams and stuff. Yeah, the big cups and that. And anyway, he'd he bought a flat in the UK, and which he managed to sell eventually. But to sell it while he was over here. So when he was in the UK, he bought a flat. He moved to France, rented a little annex, mother-in-law's. But he's trying to sell their property in London so they could buy a house here in France, which they did eventually. But my God, they'd get barristers involved and all sorts. And the couple who were in it, they were lovely people apparently. They weren't, weren't their fault, but they went to, they knew that obviously they're going to be made, they're going to be evicted. So they went to the council to tell them, the council, you just stay put, otherwise we can't house you. So they stayed put, and they had to be evicted, which cost Brendan and his missus a huge amount of money, about 20, 25 grand to get them out. That was a lot of money. Obviously a lot of people wouldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to. So yeah, that's what happened there. My dear missus, she's come wonder what I'm up to now. She's walking towards me. Yeah, here she comes. Oh dear, there she is, dodging and diving all my mess. Oh, what you got there? What's that? I've got an ice cream!
You're hot in that jacket.
I am hot in this jacket, I might take it off actually. That was breezy a minute ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm live. Say hello. Say hello.
Hello. Hello.
We're talking about property prices and stuff.
Oh, right. I've just been to get my COVID jab.
Yeah, you have. She's just had a rectal probe.
I didn't.
Yeah,
But apparently a new Pfizer. That is.
oh, yeah, Pfizer one this time, was it? A new Pfizer. Oh, I wonder what if Matt Hancock has got some fingers in that pie. Or was that Moderna? Got ice cream. Oh, Fraser. Have you ate the other four?
No.
On the way down there? They come, these come in sixes, you see.
I could possibly.
Right, okay.
We do sometimes. We sometimes buy a pack of 6 and
Yeah.
end up eating 3 each
The
because they melt.
Caroline, the wages, the minimum wage has just gone up.
Yeah.
It's actually probably works on par with France, if not a little bit more. Now, so yeah. Then the thing is that the
Yeah, but
Under
it doesn't
18s.
start until 23.
are you getting to 23 or 25?
23.
Oh, it's 23. It was like 23. Oh, I feel awkward now eating ice cream. Mm. Mm. I haven't had ice cream for ages. I'll be on this silly diet thing. I'll come off the diet for a moment, but I'm not drinking now. So being on that diet stopped me drinking. So I hadn't stopped drinking. Then I
Stop coffee.
stopped coffee. Oh. Well, no, I had more than coffee. That's it. And now I just have this, which is literally boiling water with some kind of infusion that's regularly,
Licorice
which
and
is
mint.
licorice and mint. Aim for 0 carbs. I was doing that for a while and I lost a bit. I was getting a little bit lethargic in my head as well as my body, to be honest. And some of it was I wouldn't have enough electrolytes, so I was really failing. I was big time. So I'm off it. I'll probably go back on again, but I just want to have a bit of recovery.
Especially us, we'd be getting lots of nice things in the garden.
Kind of going healthy, no alcohol. And I'll tell a lie. Actually, I did have a bottle of wine over the weekend, but it lasted
4 days.
4 days. It used to last a day and a half. But I'm not, whereas before I was actually wanting it. Do you know what I mean? I fancy a glass of wine, or I fancy it. I hadn't had a beer for ages ever.
Just some dizzies.
Just this, that was the only one that won, though, wasn't it? Little stumpy. Now I'm eating chemicals in a cone. Healthy. Hello. They said they will remove 52 government seats, so why isn't it happening now? Good point. No, it's not. No, that's definitely not healthy. I hate to think what's in that red stuff. What do you written there? It's not good. Is it cochineal? The food colouring in there? Was it cochineal? Or was it some other chemical?
This is what it's for.
No, but you don't honestly think it's actually that colour, do you?
That would be. That's Kool-Aid.
God. They try to make things look brighter and shinier and redder. That's what they try and do. They look like cornet. They're not. No, these ones are from the Supio. Yeah, these ones are from the Supio. But you can the cornettos from Lidl's are really cheap, aren't they? Do they do? Was it Supio or was it? No, that's Intermarché does you get it all over your face. I can't take you anywhere. How do you get it all over your face? My dear wife is no lady. No.
No ladies wouldn't be cutting the grass for about 4 hours in the morning.
Crikey. See on Nibud, I drank red wine for the first time in 10 years on Friday. 10 years. Out of and those got out of body hangover.
I don't really drink.
Oh, chat you out. Chat you out. We've got chat you out here. Da-da-da-da-da. Scroll up. Can't see it now. Oh, bird nest rat fest. Stop causing perpetual wars. Causing endless refugees. You forgot that. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if. Oh yeah, pipe peg. We could do that with some high-speed rail links here. Well, you're supposed to be getting one, aren't you? HS2. Is that going to be high speed?
What's that?
HS2. We've been delayed yet again. Just one cornetto. That's not a cornetto. Give it to me. No? From Wall's Ice Cream. Is that how it goes? No. Come on, you got to sing, Dan. You can do it. You can do it. I'm very concerned about Russia, to be honest. I know some people have said, oh, they've been doing that for ages regarding mapping all the... Shall I take it off then? Okay. Oh, she's undressing me. Ooh, saucy.
It's about 25 degrees and you're sitting here in all these
I am.
dresses.
Oh, I am. Okay. That was coldish a minute ago because the sun was in.
Definitely not coldish.
Scroll up. Yeah, they're mapping all the solar wind turbines, offshore wind turbines, and mapping the power lines and communication lines. And some people say, oh, they've been doing that for ages, but it's not be funny, but things are a little bit different now. We shouldn't be allowing that to happen. 332 days without carb. Well done, Christopher Ellis. It's hard though. I have to admit, I never ate so many almonds when I was doing the low carb diet. And that says we call them drumsticks. Russia with the wee ships, yeah, they're disguised as, you know, fishing trawlers and research vessels. They might have been doing it before, Joe, but that's not the point. Is we're actually in, you know, a war. And why are we letting it go on? Shouldn't be allowing it to happen. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be. Oh, in that case, Compost says, I make components for offshore wind turbines. Can I have one? Be very helpful here. I made a mess though. It's not just yet. It won't be long. And then with my little grandson, Caroline's visiting the UK to help. When got Matthew here again at the moment, so when he goes back with Caroline in about a week and a bit's time, and that'll be. She hasn't even got a date yet. She's huge. Because we have cesarean section, you see, so. Forget Boris Johnson kettles. I'm buying all Tories' Brexit's broken rollerblades. What? Oh, sorry, Joe. I misunderstood you. Yeah, parallel economy. I'm sure I can have one on the land as well. Can I? It doesn't have to be off. I just got to dig a big hole, and I put it in. Can I just have the bit on the top? This barn behind here, we've got to re-roof it this year. Well, at least we've got to take the tiles and we've got to, do the rafters, what have you, and put tiles back, or put new tiles. Well, it's partly new tiles. We've got some we've got some reclaimed tiles to use. But we've got owls now as well. Can't believe it. This year we've been hearing a strange noise. I thought it was some sort of mammal at first, but no, it's actually they call them a little owl in the UK. So it's about that big. I was perched up on there. I was in the hammock, doing a bit of research on my phone, and there's that noise. I turned around, I could see that was an owl. So I checked a recording on YouTube of owls and what have you, and apparently it's a little owl. I didn't realise every single owl, they all got different, none of them got the same sound. So you can identify what owl it is just by their cry, their call. It's a bit disconcerting because apparently that was a mating call. It looked at me probably, but it's literally just above me. That's right on the end of the ridge of that roof. Now we'll notice since we've been trying our damnedest to try and increase the habitat here for the animals and what have you. We've definitely seen an uptick in the volume of birds and what have you, and also bats. We've now got bats in the bat box on the back of the house now. They come, I found that now, thankfully. So they're a bit big, are they? Oh damn! You think so? I had what do you mean? I had a kilowatt one here once. I still got this in the barn. I got to refurbish it. So was it bigger than that? What sort of dump load would I need for a wind turbine of that size, I wonder? Yeah, I don't know if the grid would be able to cope with it if I was doing grid tie. Now you're going to get yourself some cornettos. Sorry about that. They weren't even proper cornettos. Well, they were like little type ones. I think the little ones are probably better actually. Listen, to enter the Russian ships, you just present a Tory party in the members card. And you'll have some vodka and caviar. Most probably. Oh, my dear missus, she sent me something. She sent me something. Oh, she sent me a wood pallet design. She's trying to get me to make things for the grandchildren out of pallets. Because we've been collecting pallets, you see. But I've been collecting pallets to make the bird boxes. So, which we have been making quite a few actually. We've got quite a few around here. I've got the 3 up here now. I've got birds in, which are the ones we made online the other day. I've got all the bits and pieces, components, because they're the second roost. We're in the first roost at the moment, so there is still time to put some out. So, but also now what I think about a bat box. Not bat box, an owl roost. So I'd love to encourage them. It's the noises and sounds and that as well. It's amazing, You sit out here in the evening, what have you, you've got you just focus past. You see the bats flying about you, and as long as you're not trying to follow them and stuff, you're quite easy to focus on. And then, birds. I did upload a couple of videos. I got some more to put up actually. That got with the trail camera of birds and stuff. Now, what I want to do is put the camera in the bird box. That's what I want to do. Sort of in from the outside, like a window or something on the outside of a bird. Make one specifically for it. Might be a bit late this year for that, but Be quite interesting. Also, it need to be quite a close focus lens, so relatively close anyway. Not that sort of far, probably. It could be a bigger box, obviously. So it'd be quite good. I'll say it's quite nice when you start doing the old, tree planting. You might be able to see it from here. I don't know if you can. It dips into the valleys. You can't see it all anyway, but there's the valleys there with the first tree line there. That's where part of the valley goes in there. And then we've got this other valley on the other side here, and there's a river down the bottom there. And then you've got the woods other side, and there's a lake in the corner. And the first part of the trees, the first ones we planted, you probably see where all the white sticks are in the distance. There's a load of white sticks in the distance. And yeah, they're markers, so I don't chop them down with a ride on with the tractor. That's the point, see. I don't want to destroy what we put in. But yeah, we've got quite a few. We've done 430 now so far in the ground. Plus now we've got propagated probably a similar amount as well in there. Plus the ones we've ordered. Just different varieties, different species. We've been quite lucky as well. We had some friends and also been donating some trees, actual trees. So we have to go and dig them up. But I say donate, they won't get rid of them. They're like soul-seed oaks and stuff like that. But it's ideal for us. To keep the project going, it's quite a nice thing to do. And I'd like to put a bit more time into it at the moment. I'm putting so much time into this channel still, even though I said I wasn't going to, and I'm still putting videos up. But bats eat their weight in bugs a night. I didn't even know that. And we have got quite a lot of bats here. Last year, actually, when we were just walking between here and the hamlet, because it's about 120 odd metres, there was a swarm of bats. I mean, there's like loads of it. I felt a bit like I thought it was Batman. Swirling around us they were. Not quite as many as that, obviously. That was a big exaggeration, that film. But there was a lot. I've never seen so many bats. And, apart from getting shat on, they are absolutely amazing. They really are. Where's my phone? How's it doing there? It's still alive. Oh, still going. A bit worried that it's about to shut down. So, yeah. Cheers for that, Joe. That's essential. I'll read it properly. It's quite hard to read anything out here because of the sun. Everything is hard to see. So, let's see what else. Yes, it's an old Russian Soviet technique to use fishing fleets as a cover for intelligence vehicles. In fact, the Chinese, there's been some films like that as well, isn't there, in the past? So there you go. And the Chinese have the largest fishing fleet by far and spread over the whole globe. And if they are in international waters, then all you can do is observe. And if not, if a hot war breaks out, then have forces in place to sink every single vessel you're tracking. Oh, okay. Russia's economy. As to Russia's economy, no. There's somebody on here. It's a percent. Says I disagree that their economy hasn't been affected much. No, it has been affected, obviously. But I'm saying that it's continuing on. That's all I was saying. I wouldn't say didn't mean it hadn't been affected. I was saying the sanctions hadn't been basically not as effective as we were promised. Because let me funny, everybody else is suffering because of sanctions as well, aren't they? Food prices gone up, for instance, because the cost of grain's gone up as well. It's not just Brexit, obviously. The war in Ukraine obviously does have a major impact. And they called it, didn't they? The breadbasket of the world. So, it's not, it's not supplying as it once was. And now we've got Hungary and Poland are saying, oh no, you're not going to be importing or exporting your grain to here. No, so they've done a ban, which is going to be in place until at least, I think it's July, I think they were saying. Because in support of their farmers, because their farmers are not very happy because Ukraine is flooding their market, and you'd have thought it wouldn't be because obviously Russia, but apparently it is. So apparently the Russians pop up in the Arctic often. Well, they're where was that now? There's some shared waters up north as well where Russia's actually fishing, but the British people, even they're fishing their waters. Fishing UK waters, the British people are having to pay an additional 40% taxation on Russian imported fish. So work that one out. The fact that they didn't stop over London 2 weeks out of the coronation. Oh my God, coronation. Oh my God. Well, my dear missus, she's leaving England as when everybody's arriving. So she's hoping that on the same day. So she's hoping it's not going to be too bad with transport. My theory was that okay, then they'll be busy in one direction and they ain't got the staff. Where they're going to take the staff from, they're going to take it from the other direction, which they're not as busy. So you might find you'll get delays on the direction. Doesn't matter so much as far as they're concerned. So yeah. Someone should tell the Russians to save themselves a few bob, and rather than using precious naval resources to destabilise the UK and plunge it into economic ruin, they could simply just sit back, put up their feet, and let the UK government get on with get on with that job themselves. They're doing a marvellous job of that, actually, aren't they? I must say, the Tories have proven themselves to be far more effective as a saboteurs than any of the lads I could ever have aspired to. And that was a comment by, you might have seen him on my channel before, Son of a Viking. He's pretty clued up as well. Like Joe, really clued up. I've never seen them, others, to be fair. Because I do read the comments, but you probably already know. I do read them. Even with the chat, and I tend to scan through the comments after the stream has ended. The stuff about recon incursions into Danish and Norwegian EEZs, and both countries have been on high alert over this for a while now. I bet the Ruskies are just nipping into British waters for breathing now, between their actual spying jobs. It's like I did a podcast type video about a week, 2 ago, about a system called Vulcan, and it's basically like their spy system in online actors and stuff like that, who are infiltrating infrastructure and what have you. And that was quite interesting actual video to make, really. And one person here, the other, saying, I would be more surprised, actually, shocked, if Russia didn't even have plans of sabotage North Sea infrastructure. And the thing is, if we know this is happening, a bit like Ben Wallace, he knew that. Well, he obviously knew because he's defence minister, so he must know. And if he doesn't know, there's something seriously wrong. That I think it's called the Riker. Anyway, it's like a spy plane. It's one of them big jumbo jet type things, with all the radars on board and stuff, and communications. And there's about 30 people that work on that plane. Anyway, Russia tried to shoot it out the sky above the Black Sea, and luckily the missile malfunctioned, and it failed and went into the sea. The missus, she's coming back again. She wants. Oh, she's got a tape mission. Oh no, she wants me to make a garden bench, a child's picnic bench, but out of pallets, which is not a great idea. It splinters up your butt. Yeah. Okay, she's got a tape measure. That's dangerous. She's got a tape measure. I'm a bit worried now. Blimey. You look dangerous. She can't hear me. Hearing aids. So where was I? Where was I? Where was I? And my phone's fading because it's getting a bit warm. Oh, here we go. So the UK is going to sign a deal paying it into the EU budget within 15 years. Oh. Says Michael O'Leary, apparently. Oh, I'll have to read that. I'm going to have to see that one. Yeah, apparently, you might not be able to see that, but it's in The Guardian. And he's saying the UK will sign a deal paying into the EU budget within 15 years, says the Ryanair boss, Michael O'Leary. He says Brexit is unbelievably messy and a net negative on the British economy. It sounds like marriage, darling. Net negative.
It's not messy.
What? What's messy?
Marriage.
Yeah, very messy. How do you feel about marriage? I'm not sure.
Still here.
She says she's still here. You're not, you're leaving me.
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks? 3 weeks? Yeah. I'm going to be on my own for 3 weeks. What am I going to do?
He's complaining.
I have so much to do, to be honest. I'm going to be so... It's going to be hard. Because this place takes a lot of work. And she's going when the grass is growing. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to leave it for you.
You probably will.
You've got a muck in your eyes. Muck in your eyes. What have you been doing?
Probably grass.
Oh.
You probably did last time.
Oh, okay. What did I... No, I was doing the shower room.
Not last time, it was winter.
I started the shower room because we had some water problems in there. And it was worse than I thought, so I had to rip it all out and start again.
Still not finished.
And since the shower's working, it's all, yes, that's all back in. And I've got oak floor in there now, which is good.
I need to find the leak.
And I know where the leak is. We've got to find it. I know it, I just hadn't done it. There's only one leak now. There's 3 leaks. Frosts. That's what happens when we don't heat the house. The house freezes. Okay, Michael O'Leary, what's he saying? So the boss of Ryanair, Michael O'Leary, has launched a fresh attack on Brexit, describing it as an unbelievably messy and predicting the UK should end up signing a Norway-style deal. Norway will oppose that, obviously. They won't be very happy about that. Or they'll kick up a fuss. They can't really do it about it, but they can kick up a fuss. With the EU in the next 10 to 15 years, under which it would pay into the bloc's budget. What did we leave then? I thought we were going to get cheap shoes the day we left the European Union. That's what Jacob Rees-Mogg told us all.
Cheap shoes.
Sheep shoes. Sheep shoes for peasants. O'Leary said that the UK's longer-term relationship with its closest trading partner depended on what the British establishment or future UK government do. However, he said he believed that the UK would, in the next 10 to 15 years, strike a trade deal with Europe, similar to Norway and Switzerland. Well, that ain't going to happen until the environment that we're in at the moment changes. We need to get rid of the Tories. Once we knock them off their pedestal, we need to bury them so they can never get back. Yeah, to that place of power. What can we do with them? We can keelhaul them, but they might survive that. Oh, I don't know now. All sounds rather illegal as well, so you can't really do that, no. So he believes that we're going to be sort of rejoining within 10-15 years. A lot is going to have to change if that ever becomes a possibility. The idea that I wish it wasn't true, I really do, but I can't see us ever rejoining at them. As things are at the moment, and even under Labour, I just can't see it happening. It's just making Brexit work. Oh my God. Not going to happen. Like Adam Possum said, you know, was it about trade barriers? What was he saying? Oh, negative supply shock. That's what he said. Yeah. Historically, we've always traded with our nearest partners. The problem we find dealing with the UK government is there's an obsession in most departments to find excuses that show where Brexit benefits. They failed on that one, I'm sure. Duty free is back on the flights to and from Europe, and that's about the only benefit, says Michael O'Leary. I happen to agree. I wouldn't notice that because I don't generally buy duty free on, you know. We got 15p on a pint. Yeah, according to Jeremy Hunt, can't name him. Well, so that's not looking too good. Oh, apparently Richard Sharp's future as a BBC chair is in doubt. Apparently it's a very uncomfortable chair, or very uncomfortable report. And French... Oh! Now, I don't know if you remember a while back regarding immigration, what have you, not that was going on, and there was a child. I remember a child was dangling out of a high rise, or a block of flats or something. Anyway, this guy who was an immigrant, I think he's Syrian immigrant or an African immigrant. Either way, he's an immigrant, and he scaled aside the building and saved this child. And Emmanuel Macron gave him citizenship because of that. showed courage, didn't it? And morality, what our government lacks. I mean, on behalf of the so-called French Spider-Man. Now, it's saying here that the French Spider-Man scales Paris skyscraper during the pension law protests. If it's the same guy, is that poking Macron, the guy who gave him citizenship, in the eye? Alain Robert climbs a 38-storey building with no harness to tell Macron to come back down to earth. I happen to agree. This is so damaging for Macron, as you already probably know. But like any of these protests, they get hijacked by the hard right and also the hard left. Mélenchon, obviously Marine Le Pen on the right and Mélenchon on the left. Both extremes. It's so foolish. I really do not understand what I know it was one of his flagship policies, wasn't it? It was one of the things he wanted to push through, but I think it's madness. I think it's absolute madness. It's so foolish. You don't get the people on board by punishing the people, do you? You just don't. So, okay, a free climber known as the French Spider-Man has scaled a 38-storey skyscraper in Paris. Oh, is that the old geezer? That's that old geezer, isn't it? He does all tight roping and stuff. In Paris, demonstrated support for protesters angry about. So it's not the same bloke. It's not the refugee geezer who's dubbed the French Spider-Man. Well, he scaled a 38-storey skyscraper in Paris to demonstrate his support for protesters angry about a pension law that will delay the age in which people can retire in France. It's still lower than the UK. Alain Roberts, 60 years old, flipping hell, climbs without a harness using only his bare hands. Suckers, he's got suckers on his fingers. He has to be so careful in the supermarkets. He's like this. Oh, terrible, I tell you. Well, what film did I get that from? I'm here to show my support for those to oppose the pension reform, he told Reuters on Wednesday, which is today, starting his ascent of the 150-metre skyscraper in the capital's La Défense business district. And I'm here to tell the President Emmanuel Macron, to come back down to earth by climbing with no safety net. Oh God, they make me cringe just thinking about it. Oh crikey! Now I used to run around on roofs all the time because my work kind of dictated it. Been in the building game and that, and did some really stupid things. But these days, I think you lose your legs. Your how to put it, your stability legs. I don't know, stabiliser legs. Your legs that give you confidence when you're up on the roof or doing silly things. But not now. You won't catch me up there now. No way. So yeah, I think it's all. I think it's very foolish of Macron, to be honest. I think you need to try and find that money from somewhere else to fund it. You need to fund it. I don't know how you can back down now, though. He ain't going to anywhere, is he? It's already gone. It's going through already, isn't it? So they're going to keep on protesting, and now it's almost like you're signing your own demise, isn't it? Hello, Jasper. Food dirt cheap in the UK. I watched Bald Foodie Guy, 75p a pizza. The Bald Foodie Guy. Don't know who that is. Food is cheap in the UK. That means that's good though, does it? So Rupert has to pay a lot of money for Dominion, yeah. 517 million. They were trying to get 1.6 billion out of them. Robert, not Roberts. Oh, Robert, is it? Oh, of course, yeah. I'm Francais. Sorry, I do apologise. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, we've got a Roberts up here, which is a Cancallery. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you are right. I'm just reading it off there on an English site. Sorry. Alain Robert. Yeah, sorry. I do apologise. I forgot what I was saying now. Was it 787? Was it million? I thought that was 700. Oh yeah, 787 was it? I thought it was less than that. Anyway, whatever it was a lot of money. It was 1.6 billion is what they're asking for, and I believe an exchange was submitted as evidence from Gianni, the guy with the soot run down his face, who organised a campaign outside. I think it was a sex shop or something like that. Last minute, and then they randomly stuck all these posters on behind them, trying to cover things up. Yeah, that was rather silly. But yeah, him, Gianni, whatever. I think did he fall out with Trump in the end? I think he did, didn't he? And he sort of soots his hair and it all dribbles down his face. Oh, awful, man. Safety net. Easy. I jumped 3 floors to no safety net. I'm alive. Real life story. I did it again with my old friends. Okay. Actually, we've got Gerald. There's a young lad up there called Gerald, and he does all that parkour stuff. And before the pandemic, he came over to he's to say hi, whatever, sort of semi-friendly. He walked past, we used to chat. Anyway, he ran into my front garden. The window was open. He literally ran up the front of the wall in the window and then straight into the bedroom window. What the hell? But he does all that parkour stuff. I thought it was quite impressive. I ate a bit and I've got sod Brennan and the runs. Oh, don't do that then. Yeah, ain't gonna be good for you. And Joa says, fast food pizza gives me the runs. I make mine. We do as well. We've got a bread oven. We've got a bread oven here. I'll tell you what, we'll have to do that one day. We'll have to do a bread oven run where we make our own pizzas. And it's obviously used for bread. You warm it up, you put the door on, drag the fire out, and then you can bake your bread in there. But when you do pizzas, you keep the fire in. What I've actually done though, I've actually made it a little bit smaller. I put like, not fixed, because you've got the bread oven's huge. But what I've done is I've put the some bricks inside, some fire bricks inside to make it a bit smaller, because it requires a huge amount of wood just to get it hot. But we'll do it one day, make your own dough, what have you, and make some pizzas. We can get about 4 pizzas in there now. I used to get about 12 to 15. I know she's back again. Can't see it, it's all dark. Oh no, she's showing me pictures of... I know what a picnic bench looks like. Caroline. Oh, I just touched it. I can't even see it. It's too dark. Yeah, it's a picnic bench. Oh, it's gone. It's run away.
Oh, it's got diameters.
It's got diameters? Do you mean dimensions?
Dimensions.
It's got a circular picnic bench.
What do they think? Do they think you should make one?
You're just trying to make everyone tried to make me make a picnic bench out of pallets, for God's sake.
Your little granddaughter who's going to be...
What, so she gets splinters in her butt?
No, she won't, because we'll sand it.
No way, you won't be here.
I'll sand it.
You won't be here.
I am.
You said you're going for 3 weeks.
Yeah, but her birthday's before I go.
Oh, great. Oh, crikey. Got so much to do. I'm only going to do it if you're going to make me some videos.
They wouldn't want to watch them.
That'd be funny.
That'd be very funny, but they wouldn't want to watch them.
How do you feel about the economic situation on France?
Economic situation?
On France. In France.
It's bad everywhere.
It's bad everywhere. How do you feel about 19.4? Is it 19.4? Anyway, food inflation.
In England.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
How do you feel the fact that the government decides to tell everybody that it's a little bit less than it was? That's actually more than it was, but they tell everybody it's a little that everything is on course. It's going to plan. Everything's going. That's what Jeremy Hunt was saying. It's all going to plan. Even though it's going to go into the pan.
I just bought some cravats.
Or to the fire. Cravat.
Yeah. $7.50 a kilo.
Cravats, you wear a cravat.
Yeah, I know.
Cravat you eat.
$7.50 a kilo.
Okay, that's cheap.
I bought half a kilo.
Oh, she just bought some prawns.
Yeah. I bought some carrots as well.
They're not British prawns, are they? They haven't been eating shit, have they?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
I bought some carrots as well.
Bought some carrots, okay.
$1.59 for 2 kilo.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, from Norador.
Yeah.
It's usually expensive in there.
Mushrooms, 500 grams, $1.99.
That's cheap. It's cheap we paid the other day.
Yeah.
For hair. But yeah, the food inflation, right? If it goes, if food inflation is lower, in other words, it comes down. Let's say, for instance, it's 15%. It still means the food prices are going up by 15%. And unless your wages, as in inflation, increases above 15%, your wages are, the money you got in your hand goes up, well, then obviously it's actually still costing more than it would do last year. So it's not, the food prices aren't going to be coming down. They're going to come down if food inflation is lower than inflation. Is that right? I think so. I think that is the case.
Got a drink.
I have got my infusion of licorice and mint. I have. They've seen that. And you have a little sip at a time. It's really hot. These flasks are really good. Contigo flasks.
Who bought them for you?
That was Geraldine, and she's not on it anymore. But I do speak to her via email, and she's very kind. She sent us these when I was doing my live streams in the wood shop, which I will be returning to again. But and they're quite pricey, aren't they? I didn't realise how expensive they were. And I was so appreciative. It was really good because, as you know, I use them all the time. And then I contacted her. One of her friends dies, and she didn't know, so I told her and sent her a message, and she sent me 2 more. I thought that was really sweet. Some people are lovely. Well, maybe not everyone is going. Maybe not everything is going up as fast as food prices. Maybe no one. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, obviously everything's going up in line with inflation. If it isn't, well, that means somebody's having to cough the difference somewhere along the lines. Either the profit margins have been squeezed, or viability of companies. Businesses are going bankrupt left, right, and blue and centre. If my packets are pickled onion monster, oh God, I hadn't had pickled onion monster munch for years. I love pickled onion monster munch. Oh, why do you have to say that? Oh, you swine, you. Duke Vengeance. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Oh, anything old. That salt and vinegar, that's like, oh. My favourite crisp, salt and vinegar. Luckily you can get salt and vinegar crisps. You used to better get salt and vinegar crisps here, unless you got the kettle crisps, which are obviously English. Or, yeah. Well, I think they're England, or they're British. Could be Scottish, could be Welsh, I don't know. But anyway, kettle crisps. Then get them salt and vinegar. Sea salt and vinegar. Apple cider vinegar. But actual ordinary salt and vinegar crisps, it's really hard to get hold of. But they seem to be getting popular here now in France. So nearly every supermarket have them now. Just ordinary salt and vinegar crisps, but no salt and vinegar Monster Munch, because Monster Munch here are not the same things as they are in the UK. Monster Munch is, if you talk about Monster Munch, if you ask a supermarket person, oh, we'd like some Monster Munch. Je voudrais un Monster Munch, s'il vous plaît. No, we don't have Monster Munch in the. It's different. Well, they have Monster Munch, but it's they're like Pombear. They're like those sort of flat kind of things, like potato chip things, but in the shape of bears, or overhead in the shape of monsters. But no, they're not the same as the old Monster Munch. Oh, you can get wonky veg as low as 25p a kilo for carrots. Oh, that's very cheap. So there's a great more going on about how we bring the prices of food down because of Brexit, and when it comes down to it, it's actually already really low anyway. So it wasn't like they come down any lower, was it? The beer is the only thing that is cheap in Germany. Probably. But is it relative though? Your minimum wage for a start is the highest. So people earn more. I think everything's relative. It's like when people come over here to France and say, oh, your supermarkets are expensive. And I said, well, to be fair, the cost of living is actually lower apart from food. Fuel isn't so cheap at the moment for obvious reasons. We're paying, well, I paid this, what did I get? Diesel was €1.70 a litre. €1.70 a litre. And petrol, because I got a couple of cans of petrol for the lawnmowers, and that was $1.90 for 95. RON 95 was $1.92, so that's quite pricey. That's right. Yeah, that's right, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, so food inflation going down doesn't mean to say prices. Yeah, you said it a lot easier than I did. I kind of went around the gooseberry bush. So, yeah, so food inflation going down doesn't mean the prices go down. They just rise a bit slower, literally. The only way they're going to go down is if inflation or your wages become higher than food inflation. So we're going to be stuck with high food prices for a long time, unless the supermarkets start finding other sources. Speaking of, the costs are there, aren't they? They're going up because the costs are high. The Brits were used to cheap food sponsored by no taxes, customs union and single market. It's now all gone. Hence the cost, and they were warned. Yep, exactly. And 19% is a lot. That's a hell of a percentage, isn't it? If you're, argument's sake, I don't know, if you're paying, I don't know, for a family 10 grand a year for your food, it's a random figure, 10 grand a year for your food, it means next year it's going to be almost 12 grand for your food. So on and so forth. And the following year, it's going to be, even more. I'm not going to do the math. Not off the top of my head. You see, I haven't had Sunak's education. No. Have I planted spuds yet? Yes, generally speaking, you don't plant spuds until the last full moon, which is in May. So I'm a little bit on the early side. 4 weeks before the last full moon, because I put frosts, you see. So you nip the tops off. But if the tops get nipped, they get nipped. They just carry on growing. So the tops go, but the plant is still in the ground, and that'll just carry on growing generally. It's what generally happens. So you take your chances, don't you? So we have put them in, and I could probably, hopefully the internet doesn't go, but I could actually show you. They're starting to show. They've got some in the greenhouse for the first lot. It's open in the greenhouse at the moment, so I haven't made the doors for it yet, for that greenhouse. But yeah, we have got spuds are in. Spuds are in, and they're showing just about showing the tops. So milk in the UK, Cafal says the milk has gone up by 70% in a year, and bread 50%. That's considerable. So it's not everything, is it? I suppose everything's gone up. It's just certain things have. Now we've noticed the cost of bread here. That is increased considerably as well. But the French have a different relationship to bread than what you have in the UK. It's not the same. Obviously they like their baguettes. I think some dogs have just come past. Now my dogs are going loopy. I think that's the case. Oh no, it's a neighbour walking. We've got one neighbour, Delphine, and she walks. She does like a circuit walk every single day. Every day she walks past. I didn't see her in the winter so much, obviously, but at the moment, every day she walks past the gate. It's quite a walk, quite a long way. Anyway, I think it's time for me to go, because I need to get on with some work, do some stuff. I've been on for 38 minutes, I didn't realise. Hello, gingers. My old bean seeds wouldn't sprout, so I got some new ones and planted them the other day. My broccoli and cauliflower have sprouted. Oh, brilliant. Mine hasn't sprouted just yet. I'm not doing so much of that. I'm just doing curly kale this year. I struggle. And the land is +1. It's acidic. So it's brassicas don't do well unless you do a lot of liming, and that then I've got to obviously just pay money for the lime, and it just makes it's not viable. There's no point, because when they all come into harvest is when you got the glut anyway, and you can get them cheap or from friends and that anyway. So so we're not doing brassicas this year. I'm not doing sweet corn this year either. I usually do sweet corn every year, but I'm not doing it this year. So we're going to concentrate on the Mediterranean crops, such as obviously a variety of tomatoes. We usually always do Crimea Noir, which is black, sort of large Marmande type tomato, black, absolutely gorgeous. Marmande, super steak, big old tomatoes there. And the usual sort of like cherry tomato, various variety of different cherry tomatoes and different colours. I don't like the little yellow ones; always too sweet, a bit sickly sweet for me. It's not how tomato's supposed to be. But yeah, that's quite good. You know, we do all this and end up with way too much food all at once, and then we can it all. So we put it into jars and boil them up basically in jars, and then they'll keep for quite a long while. It's definitely worth doing. You know, it's no brainer. Saves us a fortune. And also with the courgettes and obviously the peppers and those sort of crops, we make a lot of ratatouille sauce. And the beauty about the ratatouille sauce, we can use that. We can use that same sauce in lasagnas, pasta dishes. You know, just change it about a little bit if we want to, add some mushrooms or whatever. Pasta dishes, even curries and stuff as well if we want. So it's really, really useful. So we always do a ratatouille. I always do loads and loads and loads and loads of tomatoes and tomato soups and stuff like that. So definitely worth doing. And it saves a fortune. It really does. You know, I wouldn't be if we want to get a bit boring with our food, we could probably survive for a year here with food. You know, we have to ration it obviously, and don't allow people to visit. But probably about a year, I reckon. Well, the dried food we've got here, and you know, stuff that we dried, and canned, and frozen. So, yeah, it's quite good, really. Well, I suppose it's time for me to go. Just check the chat, just double check the chat, and then I better actually do some work. Hello, Vicar. Oh, it's the Vicar. Wally, where's Wally? Well, I don't know where Wally is at the moment. I can see him in the front garden. I'll tell you what, I'll see if, hopefully it doesn't go off. I'll see if I can find my Wally. And maybe, just maybe, the internet won't go off. But we'll see, won't we? We'll find out in a minute, won't we? So, well, got Taz here, this is our Tasmanian devil. And now that's now got problems. Everything's breaking on me. It's very annoying. So, yeah. I tried to start it, the cord broke, and the reason why the cord broke is because I was struggling to get it going. So we've got all these pallets here, which are going to be made into bird boxes. So I want to make about 60 odd bird boxes, and keep buying the wood at the moment. It's so expensive. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive at the moment. Where's my Wally gone? Are we still streaming? I think so. Got to make a new gate here. So we've got a gate at the front, up there. And that one that I built, that's electric, that one. But I didn't have to pay for the electric gate mechanism, because the gate that we had there, some idiot decided to reverse into it. So their insurance paid for the mechanism. You know, I basically got a payment because I had to get quotes and stuff. And then I decided I thought I'd do that instead. So I made electric gate. Great with the dogs. So you're sort of coming in and out, you can easily shut the gates, because my Wally's a bit of a runner. In front of, but like a little carport thing. We've just been doing. They literally just scaffold poles and bits of wood I already had. So that's going to be for my motorbike. So it'll be easy to get out without my dogs causing mayhem. Alright, they want to see Wally. Where's Wally? He's having his food. Dora. Oh, we're live again. Oh, well, went off briefly. We must have changed internet. There's my Pandora. Hello, Dora. Oh. Wally's over here. He's getting himself a drink. Oh, sorry about that. Well, I'm going to call it anyway, but that's because I moved across the house and we've got these little devices somewhere. Oh, these things. And they're the internet, basically. And they kind of like jump from one to the other. But it's like this, it's supposed to be seamless, but it's not. No, they lied. Don't write in there. Anyway, one last look at the chat. Yeah, it's lovely, a little Wally dog. He's a lovely little bugger, he is. He really is. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Verky, it froze me. So I was moving from internet to internet. He's trying to make him eat his food. Hello, Ian. And Dora the Explorer, she's having her food. What have you got in there, Dora? You've got carrots and pasta and some gooey stuff. And crickets. And then we've got Wally's thing. Hang on, what are you doing? And put sausage in his food. He's getting sausages. That's preferential Wally treatment, that. Yep. We won't eat it. What a little bagger that he is. Well, and this is, well, you know what my office is like. Yeah, this is my office. Yeah, it's a bit nuts in that. I don't know what I was thinking, I really don't. But yeah, it's kind of evolved. And we've now got music on this wall there as well. A bit of Hendrix there and some Floyd. Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses. Oh, and some Jerry Rafferty. So yeah, anyway, I suppose I better go really. I keep saying I'm going to go, but it's time to go. So don't believe what they're telling you, because they're telling us a load of lies. What's on Discord? Who's on Discord? So yeah, I'm going to make a note. Bye everyone, nice to have the extra stream. Yeah, I just thought I'd wing it. I'm going to do that a bit more. I'm going to try and wing it a bit more and just go for it. Oh, just sitting here eating a big bowl of onion soup. Oh God, onion soup. Oh, that's what I love when the onions come in. When you start picking the onions out in the garden. French onion soup with a big old, like big toast thing on the top with cheese and stuff. It's really good. Really good. When I was young in my little cottage, me and my little sister, we used traps. They never came back again. What traps for dogs? We're talking about mice. Yeah, we do have a mice problem sometimes. We have to get in control of them. They've actually been quite good this year. Ain't been a problem at all. So anyway, I am going to go now. So I'm going to say ta-ta, you know. So ta-ta!